welcome to our talk. I'm Alexandra, this is Krysia, and today we're going to be speaking a little bit about rituals in nature, and this is all based around a book that we have co-authored with a beautiful lady by the name of Theresa Cheung, who unfortunately can't be with us today, but Theresa is a beautiful lady. She writes a lot of books around rituals and simple daily rituals, how to turn your routine into a ritual that can bring you healing, upliftment, pleasure, vitality into your daily life. So very simple but profound work. So we're very honoured to have been asked to co-author this book with Theresa, and we want to share some of our beautiful rituals with you here today. Before we get started, I really want to introduce you to my beautiful co-speaker, Krysia Newman. She is a very dear friend of mine, but I have a lot of lovely words to say about this one. Krysia has been a therapist and a healer for going on 25 years. She studied everything from aromatherapy to Theta Healing and everything in between. She also does these amazing, beautiful energy healing facials, which are so much more than a facial. It's like a whole holistic inside, outside, mind, body, spirit overhaul, which is absolutely gorgeous. And she and her partner Matt, who's sitting here in the audience, they run a group in Cambridge called Inspiral, and they put on so many events. They work tirelessly to put on these amazing events regularly, and they're thinking now that they're going to start expanding into London. So keep an eye out for these two, because they're amazing people. They've hosted me at Inspiral before. And yeah, Krysia also works a lot with energy, vibration. She's an intuitive channel. She's an amazing speaker and healer. And she, I think in this day and age when there's so much, the mind, body, spirit industry there's so much here on offer. And to me, personally, on my journey, I've really found that I only want to work with people that are truly open-hearted and authentic and really, really working from the heart and walking their talk, really coming from, living the path, living their truth, and, really in it. You've got to be in it to do it, and Krysia's definitely one of those people. So anything else I want to tell you about this beautiful woman?
That's enough.
Yeah, I could go on all day, but yeah, so this is Krysia Newman. Please welcome her. She's fabulous, and she also is a beautiful woodland fairy. So welcome to our beautiful magical woodland here at MBS.
Thank you, Alexandra. Well, do you know what? I could probably talk about you for the next hour. So I've just written a few things down because Alexandra has done so much. Okay, so my beautiful friend here, she's a channel, an alchemist, divine feminine priestess, and founder of Precious Wisdom, and also a very, very gifted poet. As a pioneer of precious wisdom and priestess of the divine feminine, Alexandra Wenman is devoted to normalizing the conversation about spirituality and awakening. Alexandra brings the out there in here with her down-to-earth Aussie approach to channeling higher vibration and wisdom, accessing our Akashic and soul records, recognizing our true multi-dimensional nature and honoring our divinity, acting as a cosmic compass, light bringer activator, alchemist, channel and seer. Alexandra facilitates deep healing and transformation by connecting you with your higher self and light guides, inspiring you to discover your inner magic and lovingly guiding you to a deeper understanding of who you really are. A trusted author, speaker.
Okay, you can stop now.
No, I'll tell you, there's more. I could go on for hours. A trusted author, speaker, healer, poet and presenter, Alexandra has become a go-to expert and wise woman in a world that is waking up quicker than ever before, and you've certainly been my go-to. Okay, in fact today as well too. So in Alexandra's own words, I want to introduce you to my world. To me, the universe is filled with wonder and the world is a magical place. If only you know how to look.
And that's what we're going to share with you today. A little bit of how to look beyond what you're seeing with your physical eyes or what you're perceiving just from this kind of 3D perception, and how to deepen a little bit more into the heart space and into those extrasensory perceptions that we all have. And so Krysya's going to kick us off with a really beautiful ritual, the first of our rituals here today. So if you've just sat down and you haven't got a little goodie bag, please come and get one.
Yeah, do come and sit down.
Because we do have little tools and crystals that we're going to work with. So please come and get your goodie bag and join us. We'd love to have you here as part of our magical woodland.
That's easy.
Okay. No worries, just make it safe. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you, Siobhan.
Okay, don't be shy, come and sit down. Okay, so one of my specialities as a holistic therapist is helping my clients to achieve vibrational alignment. So what does that actually mean? Well, all living things are made of atoms, and all atoms vibrate. We're made of atoms, so we vibrate. Yeah. That's really good. That's a good impression. That's brilliant. So we get really daft. Okay, I'm just going to chuck these away and just have a bonkers time without. So we're supposed to vibrate at exactly the same frequency as the Earth as it moves around the sun. So people who are living closely with nature, like the indigenous people, vibrate with the Earth's natural frequency. So these days, we have some big challenges. There are many things that can distort our frequency and impact our sense of well-being. Our emotions and feelings, ill health, stress, all impact our frequencies. But there are more insidious daily disruptors at work too, such as mobile phones, Wi-Fi, house phones, microwaves, freezers, electrical grid running through the walls. The list is endless. The byproduct of these modern day gadgets are known as EMF, EMP, EMS or EMR. That's electromagnetic pollution, electromagnetic fog, smog, radiation. I'm sure you're all aware of this. So the EMF disrupts the bodily ability to communicate on a cellular level. That means it's impacting our optimal well-being. So we can end up with headaches, migraines, general malaise, to name but a few. I'm sure you've all experienced being in front of a computer screen for too long, or, as my husband always tells me, having an overextended mobile phone conversation. So let's just try and do a little exercise, okay? Can we all take a moment and just close our eyes? Okay, are we ready? So can you imagine a really busy day? You're on the phone, you're endlessly staring at a computer screen. The workplace is busy, there are so many distractions. You can feel the humming of electrical devices flowing through your body. Or maybe a busy day at home, using the microwave, vacuuming, hanging on the phone, trying to contact a service provider. rushing about using the washing machine, the tumble dryer, cooking, cleaning, or whizzing around the supermarket. All those strip lights and beeping tills. How noisy and infuriating is all of that? Or maybe you're in your car, because just sitting in a car is like sitting in an electrical tin can, distorting our vibrations. You're stuck in a traffic jam, listening to the sat-nav sending you in the wrong direction. And you can feel people's anger and frustration. So now just open your eyes. How does that make you feel? Relaxed, everyone? No. We feel stressed just thinking about it. Okay? And this is happening to us on a daily basis. So how can nature help us? And what does getting in touch with nature and performing nature rituals do for you? What are the benefits? Well, they're enormous. The minute we get in touch with nature, we're reminding our being to connect with the natural forces. So I'd just like to share with you a simple ritual. It's using the techniques of awakening meditation. So I'm just going to pass around, well, my lovely Siobhan and Matt, I'm just going to pass around some herbs. And if you'd just like to choose one to work with, so a sprig or a leaf. And it's important actually not to touch your face, sorry, health and safety, just in case of sensitivity. And if you're feeling really peckish, try and avoid eating it. Okay. Maybe I'll just smell it a little bit. Do you come in? There's some seats down here at the front too.
Would you like to take one of these for you? This is about your meditation.
Okay, so has everybody got a herb? Okay, has everybody got a herb? Okay. Oh, sorry, Anne. There you go. I got mine too. Okay, so let's just take a deep breath in and mindfully observe the herb in front of you. Imagine it growing freely and comfortably in the garden in its natural state. Notice its shape. Notice its colour and texture. Is part of it more vibrant? Notice any symmetry. Are there any marks or discoloration on the leaf? Okay, next, gently rub the herb between your thumb and fingers, just being mindful not to crush it. Just gently rub it. Okay, when you've done that, just lay it to one side. And now just close your eyes and bring your fingers up to your nose and inhale the beautiful scent. Breathe in deeply through your nose. And take in that wonderful aroma. And then gently exhaling through your mouth. And again, breathing in deeply through your nose. Pause as you take in the scent. Gently exhaling through your mouth. And lastly, breathe in deeply through your nose. Just hold on to that fragrance before gently exhaling through your mouth. So with your eyes still closed, just take a moment to visualize the herb in your mind. We thank you, herb. Namaste. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Just enjoy a really good stretch as well. Sitting for a while, haven't we? So how do you feel now compared to previously? Okay, feel more relaxed, feel lighter and calmer. I know I do now. So regardless of which herb you used, you should notice an immediate sense of calm. So which herb did you pick? Rosemary. Okay, so you'll recognise the aroma of rosemary or mint. Now, mint is particularly good with digestion and memory. And that's why I had my mint tea earlier, because my digestion just wasn't right today. So thank you, mint tea. And rosemary's pungent smell is wonderful to clarify your mind and also aid concentration. We often choose the one that we need. Now, pausing and spending a moment allows you to connect with natural, healthy, vibrational experiences, which enables you to reduce stresses. So next time you find yourself close to a garden herb, take a moment to connect with its essence. Especially when you're in the supermarket and you see that discounted plant that's wilting. Please buy it, love it, feed it, plant it in your garden, and just give it that lease of life, because it will return that love back to you. So the importance of these rituals is not just for emotional well-being. It has a real physical impact. And we're trying to balance ourselves with nature, and in doing so, to reconnect with the Earth's natural frequencies. So that's why we feel so much better after going for a walk, gardening, sitting on a beach, or just looking out of the window and watching the clouds. I know I make shapes out of the clouds. All the time. There's always a heart or a dog in the clouds. And these activities can calm us and create a wonderful feeling of well-being.
Thank you, honey. That was beautiful. And just to hold on to the energy of our herbs, because you'll be absorbing the energy and the healing qualities of that herb for the rest of the day, most likely, and you can keep coming back to it. This is quite a busy space, and I know that most of us here we're all empaths. You know, it's like, that's a great idea for empaths. Put on a huge big show where they can all run around and mingle together and like bounce off each other's energy. And like, I don't know if anyone else has been feeling a bit discombobulated. I do in these places, and you know, it doesn't matter how much shielding and grounding, whatever. We can feel each other. It's part of our natural senses that are all waking up. It's part of our I like to think it's our birthright, actually, to tune into our subtle body awareness. And one of the things that both myself and Krysia are very kind of naturally have had, I think ever since we were both children, is the ability to feel very deeply, feel beyond kind of what you think, feel outside of yourself, feel other people's emotions. And I know in the work I do, I take that one step further. I'm able to feel other people's feelings. I work a lot with that in my sessions, but I can also kind of see beyond this world. And when Krysia read that quote from me earlier, it really is like the way I see the world is it's a world full of magic and mystery, and there's a lot of life beyond what we think is actually alive here. So when you can learn to tune into your heart, and this is through the really natural, beautiful vibrational frequency of just love, just unconditional love, just being and allowing, you can actually start to feel and see and learn how to see beyond these realms. So we're going to work a little bit with our subtle body frequency now, but we're going to work with the crystals in a similar way that we just worked with the herbs. I'm going to tell you a little story before we start. So Krysia was talking about EMF and frequency before, and because I'm so attuned to my subtle body and can often feel a bit discombobulated, I can also feel when things aren't right. I do have the ability to clear energy too, so it's part of the tools that I have in my toolkit. I often get guided around the planet to places where there are trapped, stuck energies, and I have to release the energies and sort of neutralize the space. And one of the things that happened fairly recently, those of you who are my friends on Facebook will know all about this, or on my YouTube channel, because I was very well aware of a new frequency coming into my life early this year, in May this year, when they decided to turn on the 5G network in my area. And I was woken up at exactly midnight, in the middle of the night, feeling like somebody had plugged me into an electrical current, and it just hadn't stopped since they turned it on. And I wrote letters to the council, and I was like, I can actually feel this frequency in my body. And I started to play with ways I could neutralize this, and I could kind of settle it down, and I could kind of harmonize it, if you will. I have this amazing healing system called Precious Wisdom that works with symbolism. But one of the things I found that really, really helped me was a very unassuming little crystal called shungite. It's a carbon-based crystal. It's a very grounding crystal. It's pretty fashionable at the moment. I think a lot of people are cottoning on to the virtues of shungite. You have to be a little bit careful about whether or not you're finding a proper piece of shungite, because I think there are some fakes floating around now. So it's to make sure you have the authentic piece. But when I work with crystal energies, and I do teach crystal consciousness workshops as well, I don't just tune into the kind of general healing properties of that crystal. So we know that rose quartz is for love, shungite's great for healing and shielding your energy. What I do is I help people to tune into the consciousness of the actual individual piece, the crystal that they're working with, to form a unique connection, because those crystals are alive. They have their own personalities, they have their own sort of consciousness. And I like to see them as almost like a little being in their own right. They've come into your life for a reason, to help you. Now, what we know of the elemental kingdom is that our physical bodies are elemental. We are part of that kingdom as well, and we can communicate through our subtle body with these beings, with this consciousness. So if each of you have one of the little goodie bags, I think there's a lady over here who just arrived that might need one, Siobhan. If you have a little dig around in your goodies, and over here as well. You should find a little crystal pendant in your bag. This is a little gift from Krysia and myself for you guys to take home. We're going to do a little exercise so that you can connect to your own little crystal heart. And meet your little crystal guide for healing and to help transmute some of these energies that we might have. Now just wait till everyone finds their goodies. So first of all, just want you to start to, much like we did with the herbs, just tune into the shape and the colour of the crystal and start to think about how it makes you feel. Like what does the colour make you feel? If you're a boy and you've got a pink heart, it might be a bit girly. How does that make you feel? Just tune into your feelings and the feelings that it's bringing up for you in this moment. And I want you to really tune into how you're feeling right now, because we're going to connect to our feelings after we have done this little exercise again. And you might know what crystal you have, you might not know what it's called, you might be aware of the stone that you have and the name of it. We're not going to worry too much about that right now. What we want to look at is your personal connection with this crystal. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it in our left hand and then close your eyes, and I want you to tune in to the frequency and the energy of this crystal. I want you to use your imagination, because even though a lot of people think that our imaginations are just something a bit frivolous, and maybe when we were children we were told we just had vivid imaginations, your imagination is actually the key to your higher consciousness. It is the doorway that we're going to work through. So if your logical mind comes in and says, oh no, you're just imagining this, you just say, okay, thank you, logical mind, I am, but we're just playing, so it's okay, you can relax, we're just going to imagine for a minute and have a game. So holding that crystal in your left hand, just closing your eyes and focus on the colour of that crystal first of all, just being aware of the colour. And I want you to imagine that you can start to amplify that colour through your whole energy field, as though you're sitting in a column or a pillar of light, or a flame of light that is turning the colour of your crystal. And imagine that you can start to feel a heat or a tingling from the crystal as it amplifies its energy through your energy field, bathing you in light and warmth and love and frequency, and its own unique healing frequencies. Now, any of the interference from frequency or energy or other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions that you might have picked up through the day, or even from the exercise we took you through at the beginning with the traffic and the noise and everything, any of that, just see it being burnt up in the colour of this crystal and transmuted back into love. And start to breathe the colour of that crystal deeply into your heart. And then I want you to imagine that that beautiful pillar of light is connected to a positive emotion. And if you could imagine that you know the word of that positive emotion that it's gifting you with now, I want you to imagine that you absolutely know what that emotion is, what that feeling is. That uplifting, healing, positive vibration that's coming in just for you, your gift from the crystal to help balance and harmonize your energy, bring you into harmony, and feel, see or imagine yourself deepening into that color so that you really begin to soak like a sponge in that color, almost like you're soaking in liquid fire light of this color. And feel all your cells, molecules and atoms really relaxing, really soaking in this color, taking on this positive emotion. And anything that is not aligned with this positive emotion just begins to dissolve and release from your energy field. And whenever you wear this crystal, you can set the intention that it creates this beautiful column or pillar of light, or even a sphere of this light around you, so that whenever you wear this crystal, you feel this way again. So really deepen into it. Now we're going to work with the consciousness of this crystal itself. So I want you to imagine that as you're sitting in this beautiful, beautiful flaming color, a gorgeous light being or light guide is appearing behind you, and you might see it as a beautiful angel or a light being. It could even be a star being, it could be a fairy, it could be a guide that you've connected with before, it might be something new, and we're just going to play. So just using your imagination, if your crystal could represent itself as a beautiful light guide or a beautiful light being, what might you imagine that being would look like? And just imagine you can take in all the details of that being. And I want you to imagine that that being is giving you a name that you can know it by. And it might be a simple name, it might be a name that is familiar to you, it might even be a completely ridiculous name, it might just be a sound like who knows, something weird, something normal. The first name that drops into your head is usually the right one. And I can tell you right now that every single one of you has a beautiful light guide standing behind you, and they are personal light guides to you. So the energy should feel, even though you may not have seen this guide before, it will feel loving and it will feel familiar. It might feel a bit powerful. You might even feel a heaviness coming down around your shoulders. And this is an energy that these angelics do help us with. They do help us to ground more, so that we can then expand our energy field and expand our consciousness even higher and really learn a lot more about us and our extrasensory perceptions, what we're all about, because these are our own natural gifts. There's not one person on this planet that isn't psychic or that doesn't have natural healing abilities. And it is my belief that we are all divine, and it's just a choice as to whether or not we want to access this or not. So this is a really simple ritual that you can do with a crystal or a flower or a plant to connect with the consciousness of this plant. And more I'm seeing evidence that we don't so much need to actually even hold the crystal in our hands to connect in this way. You can just call on the consciousness of any crystal, even if you don't have it to hand, and bring its energy into your energy field in this way. And it's a really beautiful way to work with it. So you can think, rose quartz, I need rose quartz medicine or rose quartz magic, please bring that into my life now. Fill my energy field with this, and if there was a spirit of rose quartz that could work with me, what would that be? So I want you to tune into your heart now to receive a personal message from this beautiful crystal, the guide of this beautiful crystal. What do you need to know today? What would this loving being be telling you right now? If you could imagine that you can hear it, or even just feel the message. And finally, I want you to imagine that your light guide is gifting you a symbol, a small symbol or a small gift. And just imagine you can see exactly what this gift is. Imagine your guide is placing this in your other hand. So if you're holding your crystal in your left hand, imagine a small symbol or gift being put into your right hand. And take note of what this symbol is, because you're going to see evidence of this symbol somewhere in your daily waking life in the coming days, weeks or months. And you can imagine that you're placing it in your heart for safekeeping, and then you can just forget about it, because you might find that when you least expect it, you'll see this symbol or this gift somewhere, and you'll be like, oh my god, I did a process the other night and we were gifted with a pearl, and the next day I saw like 7 different references to pearl. So you'd be surprised, and the more we trust it and the more we have gratitude for these connections, the more they will show up to support you. And it is all through your higher self, because we're all connected on some level through the divine. Everything living, we have a beautiful symbiotic relationship with the natural world. We are part of Mother Gaia, we are part of Mother Earth, she is part of us. We belong to the elemental kingdom, but we also belong to all the multitude of other realms around us. There is life in everything, everywhere, and it is all love. So just thanking your guide now for this message and this connection and this love. They can stay with you if you want, just to be your little personal crystal bodyguard while you walk around the show, to protect your energy field, keep you calm and harmonized and feeling safe and protected. And then just really imagine that you're bringing all of that color and that light down into your body so that it becomes body shaped, and you're sealing your energy field in that light now. So you place that beautiful, almost like a body shaped silver lining or golden lining or whatever color lining around your body to seal in your light. And when you're ready, bringing your attention into your heart, just tune into how you're feeling now compared to when we began this process, and to see if you feel a shift in your emotional state, in your energetic state, in your vibrational state. And then take a deep breath in, and when you open your eyes and come back, just set the intention that you're going to bring all this light, all this healing, all this beauty back into your daily waking life, and you're going to anchor it here so that you get to see more evidence of this beautiful feeling, this beautiful emotion, and this lovely healing you've received from this tiny little crystal. I mean, how powerful is that? And that has happened because of your connection to the crystal. So it might not have been able to do it on its own. Maybe you couldn't have done it on your own, or maybe you could have, but it's a beautiful relationship. So thank the crystal, thank Mother Nature, thank yourselves, and then when you're ready you can open your eyes and come all the way back. So we're going to move on to another topic. Is everyone feeling good? Amazing. You all look vibrant, I have to say. There's lots of light radiating off this group. You look gorgeous. So we're going to talk a little bit about the trees now, and the trees are obviously everywhere on our planet, and we've heard a lot about the trees in the news of late. are very aware of them, but we're going to show you some ways that you can connect to the ancient spirits of the trees and the dryads for healing and, again, upliftment, and our beautiful symbiotic relationship with the trees. So I'm going to hand back to Krysia now, and she's going to take you through another process. She's going to tell you a little story. Thank you.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. I just want to sit down now and just go, I got joy. Joy came straight away. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you, honey. Okay, so before we close our eyes, sorry, can everyone hear me? I've just got so much noise behind me. I'd just like to show you the Jian Mudra. And this actually came to me in a channeled meditation that I did, that I've written about in the forthcoming book with Theresa Cheung. So you just lightly, you've got it, lightly press your index finger and thumb together and just allow the other three fingers to just relax, and then place them down on your laps. Okay? So, everyone ready? Let's begin. Okay, if you can just take a few moments, let's just get comfortable, okay, in your sitting position. So, feel your eyelids gently close. And relax. Keep your spine straight. And just check for any tension. Relax your jaw. Just check your neck. Just gently rotate it to one side and then the other. Just relax your shoulders, just drop them down and feel your lower back. Just wiggle your waist and hips just to make sure you're comfortable. Feel yourself sitting comfortably in your chair. Just wiggle your arms, rotate your hands back and forth, and give your fingers a little wiggle. Just wiggle your legs. Just rotate your ankles, especially if you've been walking around the MBS. Okay? And really feel your body, and now feel that it's relaxed. Okay. Keeping your eyes closed, gently smile. Now think of a tree that you're familiar with and picture this tree in your mind's eye. See, sense, feel, or simply know your favourite tree is with you now. Imagine a pillar of white light flowing down through the crown of the tree, flowing through every branch, down, down, deeper, down through the trunk, and shooting deep down into its roots that are flowing towards you. Imagine a pillar of white light coming down through the top of your head, flowing through every cell of your body, down, down, deep through to the soles of your feet. Imagine roots of light projecting from the soles of your feet, shooting forward to entwine with the roots of your chosen tree. The light that flows through you now flows and joins and merges with the light of your tree. You and your tree are one. You have connected. Do any words pop into your head? Is there something you want to say to your tree? If there is, say it now in your head until you feel a sense of peace and connection. If not, just send love from the heart of your tree, receiving that love into your heart. Has your tree got a message or a gift for you? Just spend a moment, heart to heart, with your tree. Just before we come back into the room, just thank your tree for connecting with you and your heart today. Namaste. Thank you, tree. Gently open your eyes. Now the beauty of this ritual is that you can actually do it anywhere. I mean, we've got the noise of the MBS going past, and you can be in your bed watching the children running around the house, shouting and screaming and just thinking, I just need a moment. Can't get outside in that moment, so you can just simply go in and connect. Okay. So did everybody get a connection? Did you manage? Great. Now when we finish, if you'd like to come and share any of your stories with us, we'd love to hear them. Thank you.
Thank you, Krysia. That was so beautiful. Just to follow on from what Krysia just guided us through that beautiful meditation, it's actually a message I was given many years ago by the trees, is as well as us having this beautiful symbiotic relationship on a physical level where we breathe out carbon dioxide that they breathe in and they breathe out oxygen that we breathe in, so we have this beautiful relationship. It's also that they will take our negative energy and our lower emotions and transmute them back into the positive. And I do believe that's actually been talked about in ancient Eastern philosophy as well. And I hadn't known that until I was maybe it was a memory from a past life that I kind of connected in with. So I sort of take people through those processes as well. But one of the final things I want to share with you is a way that we can actually use ritual to help our planet. And we often think that we are just an individual or that we are powerless and, what can we do? And if you're like me, a sensitive and a seer and a healer, every time I think about going out and picketing or getting involved in sort of outward activism, it just doesn't, it's not where I'm supposed to be situated. And sometimes that can kind of make me go into a place of, oh, but what am I meant to do? You know, I feel a bit powerless, but I know that it's not for me to go out marching and kind of, I don't know, fighting. It's mine is a way of peace, and I've been shown many times that we can actually make a lot of change just sitting peacefully in our hearts and holding light and holding love for our planet. And so in the work that I've been doing with the crystal grids in the earth and with the forests, I've been shown that actually if you send prayer and healing to the earth, it is gratefully received. And one of the most powerful times I experienced this was a couple of years ago on a trip to Cambodia. And I know you've heard this story before, honey. It's beautiful. I'm going to try not to cry. It floored me. I went on a tour to the killing fields in Cambodia, and I'm sorry, this is a heavy topic, so I'm going to try not to go too heavily into it. But I was walking around that place, and the night before, I was visited by a lot of the trapped souls of the people that had been killed there that I had to do some release work with. But when I went to the actual place, as I was walking around, this vision came into my head, this image, and it was probably one of the most shocking and horrific and upsetting images I've ever seen, because it was to do with a tree, and it was to do with how this tree was used to basically harm children, without going into too much detail. The tree, huge tree. And I thought, I can't be seeing this. Like, this is something, you couldn't make it up. It was too horrific what I was seeing in my head. And then I rounded a corner, and there was this huge, beautiful tree, and there was a sign, and it said the killing tree on the sign. And people had come and tied ribbons there, and all I could feel from this tree was its trauma. The tree was in trauma, really severe trauma, and I was crying my eyes out, and I sat with this tree, and I got a really powerful message, please give healing to the tree. So I sat there and I did my precious wisdom, which doesn't actually do anything other than hold the frequency of unconditional love for sort of the highest and best outcome to happen. So it's like a harmonizing system. So I sat with the tree for ages, and then soon enough it sort of transpired that by sending healing into that tree, I was also healing all the other trees in the vicinity that had borne witness to the horrors that had gone on there. There was another tree that they'd hung speakers off that was singing like war songs to basically cover up the sounds of what else was going on. So that was, I realized that day that part of what we are capable of is sending healing back to nature. You know, we often go out into nature to receive healing for ourselves, but we can actually send healing to the planet in this way. And it was, even though it was a really sad day and a really shocking day, it was also a really eye-opening day and a really educational day for me. And I've used that technique to be able to tune in ever since. And shortly after that, we'd just moved to a new neighbourhood a couple of years before that. And I noticed there was a tree, there are many London plane trees around my area, and just at the edge of my park, there was this one tree in particular that I felt really drawn to. And I keep walking past this tree, and I'd be like, oh, I really like that tree. And I remember one day I was like, oh, I'm going to go hug the tree, you know, on my way home, I want to give it a... And it was like, get away from me. I got this, no, don't come near me. Do not come near me. I don't like humans. I don't want you near me. Stay away, stay away. And I was like, ooh, what's going on with the tree? So I kept my distance. And I went and I sat down, and I sat at the edge of the park. And I just very gently started to tune into the tree, and I wanted to know why the tree was feeling this way and what was actually really going on for this tree. So I just started to send love. I didn't kind of foist anything on it. I just thought, I'm just going to hold you in love, and I just want to try to go some way to understanding what it is you need. And little by little, it was like the tree started to open up, and it started to almost get curious about me, because I kind of got this feeling of, you can hear me, you can see me, you can communicate with me. And I was like, I'm here if you need me, that's all I want you to know, I'm here if you need me. And I must have been there for about an hour, and then eventually the tree said, okay, come and meet with me. And I literally, he just let me, and I could say he because he gave me the name George. And I love George, and I very gently just put my hand on him, and we connected that day. And now George, every day I get off the bus, I go and give George a hug, and I say hi to George. And it was a couple of years of doing this when George finally told me his story. And you see I'm going to cry again, because they really are alive, and they really are individual beings, and they really are so wise and ancient. George was not always a London plane tree. There was a time in another life where George was actually a massive old growth tree in the Amazon jungle. He was huge, he was vast, he was probably about the size all the way around of this whole group. He showed me himself, and he was in an area of the jungle where there were no humans. He was aware of indigenous peoples nearby, but he said he'd never had contact with a human before, physically. And then one day these people just arrived and chopped him down and started hacking into him, and they came into his part of the forest and obliterated it. And I get chills talking about it now. And so that is why George did not want any contact with humans. And after that, I guess all souls have a journey. So George came back to share his wisdom, his ancient wisdom, with some of the younger trees in the neighbourhood, and to hold light, and especially to hold light in a city like London. And London, being quite a dense, heavy energy city, has also called a lot of light workers to it for the purpose of raising the planet. I do believe it's one of the major planetary chakras as well. So George is here holding sort of like a grid of light and sharing of his ancient wisdom with the trees. And I think he just expected to do it in peace, not to be bothered by this girl that's like, hello, let me hug you. You know. But he really is a wise being, and I recently got a message that he's planning to depart again. Now, I got a bit upset because I was like, well, does that mean someone's going to chop you down? And he was like, no, we can be a bit like walk-ins. So his soul may depart and another soul can come into that tree after he leaves. But a lot of the messages I'm getting is to request to raise magical earth, to reawaken magical earth. And I'm seeing evidence of it. I have the ability to see faces in the trees, to see faces in the clouds, like Krysia does too. We find rocks with faces on them all the time. Magical earth is rising, and it means the veil is thinning. Especially in this month, we're going to start really feeling the veil thinning because we're coming up to Samhain. So if you can, in your heart, whenever you're in nature, make a request to raise magical earth, to bring magical earth back to light, open our hearts so that we can see not only the magnificence of who we are, but so that Gaia, our earth, can see the magnificence of who she is and blossom again. I was in Bali in March, and I stayed in the thick of the jungle, and there I was staying with really prehistoric jungle, way north of Ubud, and undisturbed jungle, and I got this clear message, and I didn't know what it meant at the time. And they said, well, the jungles of the earth are about to start regenerating themselves. The jungles of the earth, and they kept repeating it, the jungles of the earth are going to regenerate. The jungles of the earth will regenerate. Okay, so that was in March. In August, the Amazon went up in smoke, and the Arctic, and then parts of Africa, and half the planet was up in smoke. But I kept hearing this. It's part of the regeneration, and not to go into fear, because part of those, whatever was going on with the fires, it was like it was raising people's awareness of the jungle. It was like, don't forget, you need us to breathe. Like, come on, humans. So you can actually set that request whenever you're in nature and you need healing for yourself. Don't forget to give back as well, to hold the intention that as you heal Mother, Mother heals you, and it is a reciprocal relationship. And that's the simplest ritual, really. It's just your pure intention to love, to share, to give back as you're being given to, and really keep the balance and the harmony. And what you'll find is the more you open up and you share with nature, the more nature will open up and want to share with you. And that really is, there's nothing more magical. I've got pictures of fairies. She's got pictures of fairies. I'm sure we were fairies in a past life, I don't know. So I just want to leave you with that thought, and then I'm going to hand back to Krysia just to round us up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and listening to us today. We want to say thank you to Theresa Cheung, who really, thank you Theresa, sorry, she's watching, not here, obviously on the video,
here in spirit with us, and we're so blessed to have co-authored the book with her. So it's called 21 Rituals to Connect with Nature, and it's part of the 21 Rituals series. She's got loads of these books. It's available to pre-order at Watkins now. And just to say, we've given each of you a little goodie bag, so you've got all our details in there. If anyone wants to know anything, so I'm making really cute little fairy talismans if anyone's interested. But yeah, if you want to connect with us, Krysha's beautiful facial's amazing. Yeah, love to hear from you. If you want to stay and chat too, now that we're finished, we're going to be around, so we'd love to meet you and hear how you experienced that. But bless you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've loved every minute of it.